You know how there are companies out there who are considered B tier, but are doing way better than companies that are considered A tier company? I think that Soundcore is one of these companies, especially when it comes to the earbuds or their sound system. In this video, I'm going to review the Soundcore Liberty 5, and I think that this might be the best headphones or earpods that you can get over the Apple earphones. This right here is a sound called Liberty 5, and I have been using this for I think 3 weeks now. And this might for me be the best earbud I've had to grace my ear. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about this earbud in terms of what you get in the box, the design, the sound quality, the application, and also the features that it has as well. So let's talk about the things you get in the box when you get this earbud. They are not so much in the box. You can pretty much get obviously the earbud itself, and then you get things like your manual just to pretty much tell you how to use this earbud, yeah? And then you get the charging cable, charging to the Type-C, and then you also get different ear tips, which I think is a good addition. So if you have smaller ear hole, you're able to use the smaller ear nibs and just put it in there so it fit properly, and then you avoid sound leakage. And if you have a bigger ear hole, you have bigger tips as well. That's going to help you make the earbud fit into your ear and not have sound leaking from them as well. So let's talk design. Now, the design of this earbud, I think, is very, very sleek. Now, it's small and it's compact. As you can see, I can hold it in one hand just by squeezing it and tell you how compact it is. Now, another thing I like about this earbud is the fact that it all has matte finishing. So there's little to no gloss on it as well, which is nice. I mean, this can get fingerprint, but not as worse as if you have it all glossy, yeah? Another thing I like about this earbud in terms of design is the fact that it opens upward like this. I don't like that the inside is a lot glossy, but I think this opening mechanism is a good one. And then you have this light on here, that shows you, once you open it. Now, if you take this out, up, and you take out one of the earbud and you put it back, the light indicates on this side to let you know that you've plugged this in and that this is charging. And the same thing happens when you plug this in. This light also comes on to let you know that you're currently charging this. And when it's low, the light changes to color red that lets you know that this also is low as well. And I think that's a pretty much good design. It's efficient, it's not so big, it can fit in your pocket. Anyone can fit in the smallest side of any smallest bag that you can carry on. And it's not heavy as well, it's pretty light. Okay, so let's talk specs. Now, this earbud charges with Type-C charger, as you can see behind it, but it also supports wireless charging. So if you don't want to plug it in to Type-C, you can just put it on your wireless charger and you can let it charge. Now, additionally, the earbud is said to last about 12 hours on a single use, and this is without ANC or without Dolby Atmos, because then again it supports Dolby Atmos, yeah? Without ANC on and without Dolby Atmos. And with the volume at about 50%, it can support up to 12 hours on a single charge. However, with just 5 minutes of charge that you charge this earbud, it can give you up to 5 hours. So which is to say that it has fast charging, but however, this is only when you plug it using the Type-C cable. It doesn't support, you don't get that much speed when you use the wireless cable, wireless charger compatibility. This earbud also supports Dolby Atmos, so pretty much it means that you are gonna get richer audio or richer sound quality if you're using Dolby Atmos turned on. I found that in my testing that your audio has a bit more depth and is a bit more richer. Then you have three options to pick from. You have the music option, you have the podcast option, and then you have the movie option. And I find again that these work differently and they all have different, way that they sound when you're using them. Another thing about this earbud is that they have custom EQs. Now there are a preset of EQs that you can pick from any EQs that you want, but you can also have custom EQ to choose, and you can customize your EQ the way you would want it to be, which I think that this is one of the reasons why it's a better alternative than the Apple earpods, because up to now you don't get EQs, you get basic EQ setting, you don't get so much to do. You have limited customization on how you use your earpods. The Apple earpods, I mean to say. Now, but this allows you to be able to customize your audio however you want, pretty much to tune it up to whatever sound you like. Another good thing that it has again that it has a hearing test, so you can put it in your ear and then it kind of does this thing that tells you how you should listen to sound. Like you're able to go through like a hearing test, and then the audio is customized based on how you hear things, which makes it a bit more personalized. Again, you don't get that with other earbuds out there, especially in this price point, which I will tell you about in the end of this video. Another thing about this earbud that I like, that I think that is superb, is the fact that it has what's it called now, hearing awareness. So if you're listening to music for some reason and then you take it off from the ear, the music stops to play, and when you put it back in, the music starts to play again, which I think is a beautiful thing. So you're not having to pause your music. Of course, you don't talk to somebody and everything. Just take it off your ear, and then the music stops, put it back in your ear, and then the music starts again from where it stopped from. And it doesn't just stop abruptly. It kind of fades out, and then it fades in. And those little details, I think, are actually awesome. Another thing about this AirPod is the fact that now, unlike other AirPods where you have touch control and you just have to tap, with these AirPods, all you have to do is kind of squeeze the stem, and that is how you're able to control it. Now, I don't know. I think this is a good idea. I mean, if you're going to listen to music while you sleep, I do that sometimes if you don't do that. With the AirPods that you have to tap, I see how most times I mistakenly pause my music or I stop the music, but because of the fact that I have to now pinch the stem, that is no longer a problem. However, while testing this earbud, I realized that sometime I was going to go skate and I had my hands full, but I wanted to change the music. I couldn't because I needed 2 fingers. As opposed to if I could just use this and just tap like this, that would have stopped the music, and without having to, look for 2 fingers that was already filled up with stuff. So I see how this is a pro and how it's also a con. I don't know how you're going to use this, but just know that you have to pinch, and you kind of have to pinch a bit harder, not just tap. You have to pinch a bit harder to be able to, pause your music, play your music, nest your music, increase the volume and stuff like that. There are so many different ways you can do this, and you can also find this in the app as well, where 1 touch is to pause, 2 touch is to increase, 3 touch is to nest, and then you touch and hold, you're switching between transparency mode as well as the noise reduction mode. And noise reduction on this AirPod is amazing. And you have different levels to pick from. You can pick from level 1 to level 5, which is the strongest. And I find that it is actually very, very strong, as well as noise cancelling. Now, with noise cancelling, you don't have too much options. All your options you have is noise cancelling, noise transparency. What I mean to say, transparency mode, you do not have so much options. You pretty much have just wind rejection. But the transparency mode, I also find, and it is very, very clear as well. So you're able to hear yourself talk and hear people around you and still hear the music you're listening to without losing quality. Emphasis on without losing quality. Now, another beautiful thing about this AirPod that I like is the fact that you're able to also turn on noise transparency mode when you're on call. So you know how you're on calls with the earbud and you can hear yourself and it feels like you're repeating yourself because everywhere is blocked. But with this particular AirPod, even if you're in noise cancelling, you have the cancelling turned on and you pick a call, it automatically switches to transparency mode. So you're able to listen. But mind you, you have to kind of turn on this function in the app. But when you turn that on, it switches to transparency mode, so you're able to listen to yourself talk and people around you as well. And then another beautiful thing about this AirPod is the fact that I can go on and go on and go on. There's so many cool things about this AirPod. I'm thinking about it right now. I mean, it's water resistant and dust resistant as well. It's adaptive, so you can have transparency mode turned on, but once you go to a very loud area, the AirPod knows this and then it switches back to pretty much to noise cancelling, so you cut off everything around you. And I keep saying noise cancelling, but I don't think you understand how good it is. I'm going to try and simulate what noise cancelling looks like so you can understand how strong noise cancelling is. Another beautiful thing about this AirPod is the fact that it has 6 mics actually on the stem, which helps you with your audios when you're on call. And it also has AI that helps you cancel the noise, the background noise pretty much. So you're not on call and the person that you're speaking to the other end is hearing the car that's passing behind or someone that is shouting behind. You're pretty much hearing just your voice and everything else is pretty much mute or at least at the lowest of the volume. So just your voice is what is being picked up, by these mics that this AirPod has. Another thing I forgot to mention is that this AirPod also allows you to connect to 2 different devices. So it has Bluetooth 5.4, which allows dual connectivity, so you can connect it to your phone as well as your laptop, and you can use them seamlessly without having you can be listening to music on your laptop, and once you put something on your phone, it just transfers straight to your phone, and it fades in, so it's not again abruptly, so you're able to use that function if you want that function. So now for sound quality, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you what it sounds like or let you guys listen to what it sounds like, but I can tell you for a fact that it sounds good. It sounds really good. And the fact that you take this hearing test that helps you also tune the sound to your taste. It means that it will sound different for me than it will sound differently for you because it's tuned to your hearing capacity as opposed to my hearing capacity. But what I can tell you for a fact is that this earpod sounds really good. It's the volume and the quality of the music actually is rich. You know how it's not even about loud, because you can have audio that is loud and it's not clear. You get what I'm saying? So this isn't just loud. This is loud. This is clear, and it has depth. So it's rich. I don't know how else to explain this. It's a rich. It is rich. It's shall rich very much. And again, I think that it's a good alternative, to the airport, especially because of the price point. I mean, the airports are about 250k Nigerian currency in naira, while this is going for roughly around 95k. As at the time of this video, it could be more when you're buying, probably it could be less as well, but 95k piece, and you will rest assured that you have good airport. So one thing I didn't like about the design of this airport that made me say that I'm gonna give it a 9/10 is because, so you see how you can flip it up here, and that's pretty much how you open and close this. Now I realized that sometimes when it's dark and I cannot see this logo, I find myself trying to open it from the left, from the right, or from the back. I wish that it was designed in a way that is not, because this is like a perfect square with a curved edge, so you don't know where it's front, where it's back, where it's left and right, as opposed to, let's say, the airport, for instance, that you would never confuse the airport. You can only go or yeah, but you never confuse the airport to open from this side, so you kind of reduce the chances of you having to try to open it wrongly. But with this guy, because it's a perfect square with what's it called, curved edges, I have found myself so many times trying to open this from the side, from both sides actually, and then I have to kind of like figure out my hand around the logo and say this is the top, and then I'll flip it off from that space. I wish that was not the case, but it is what it is. I also wish that it's not glossy on the inside, because it's glossy on the inside, it means that it gets dirty real fast. But yeah, it is what it is. But that does not take away from the fact that this is a very good earpod to buy, and the fact that this has good sound quality. There are pretty much some things I think I have not even touched about this sound earbud. That when you buy it, you now get to really understand, what I'm talking about. So I realized I've been talking about this earpod since, and I never mentioned how to pair this with your phone. So it's pretty simple. What you want to do is you want to open up the earpod. Yeah, once you open it up to the earpod, automatically it should pair to your phone if you just bought it new. But if it doesn't, there's a button here that all you have to do is just click and hold this button until this light starts to flash really fast, which then tells you that this is already in pairing mode. And then you can go to your phone and look for Soundcore Liberty 5, and then you can pair it. And that's pretty much all you need to do. It's that simple. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Please like, share, subscribe. I know I've not been consistent as I used to be, but I'll try and come back more often for you if you like. Yeah. And if you subscribe as well. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.